Hi, and this is Bev here. This is a response video, or it's like a reciprocation, if you like, to Metal Mickey's video. I made a suggestion that he could maybe show his non-metal, or his, what he might term as his softest or poppy or cheesiest, as in most embarrassing CDs that he has in his entire collection, out with these preferred rock and metal stuff. And he duly obliged. He put a video out and showed a few CDs, a few that I recognise, and there's a few that I'm going to show that Metal Mickey will probably recognise. So this is my video in return. Now I've got loads to get through here, mostly they're CDs. I've just picked out a couple of albums because the majority of my music collection did go to CD. I had loads more than what I've got. I did get rid of a lot, some of the stuff that I just wasn't going to listen to anymore, as in Jason Donovan's 10 Good Reasons. I did have that on CD. It was the first CD I ever owned. It's Long Gone, and there's a whole lot of others, but I can't really remember half of them. In the background you've got Substitute by Clout, and they are from the 70s, and they're kind of just very cool 70s soft rock, poppy. It's just kind of a nice chill out album. The title track Substitute is brilliant. It's I first discovered that on James Last, one of Dad's James Last albums, where they did a version of it. So there's that one. I'll just show the other two records and get them out of the way, because the other two, which are non-metal, Belinda by Belinda Carlisle. This was her album before Heaven on Earth. So that's, well, you can see that too well. The lighting in this room is not the greatest. I'm not happy with it. It could be doing being a bit brighter. I think I need a light over the desk here. The up light on the ceiling is rubbish, so I'm using light from the back lamp as well, but I do apologise. I am looking to get that addressed. Other vinyl is Gerry Rafferty's City to City. It's the only album I've got of his, for the main reason of Baker Street. Absolutely classic. I guess you could class it as a soft rock, pop rock song, but the actual album's pretty decent as well, so it's quite nice to listen to. Now this could take a while, so I'm going to just rattle through them all fairly quick. I'll just give a brief description, and we'll start off with this stack. This is all, I'm just going to lift it up here, and it's all, I don't want to drop them either. There we are. It goes down to here. Yep, these are all a collection of, the 80s collection it's called, and they're from Time Life Music, who were one of these folk that would advertise on the television, and you'd send away a cheque and you'd get one every month, as in TV mail order type thing. And it goes from the bottom upwards is 1980 up to 1989. There is 2 CDs to each year, and they're both double CDs. And the bonus discs that you got at the end of the collection, these two, there's 80s Europop and 80s rock. Now I'm sure there was a dance one as well, and I think I gave that to my brother, because there was nothing on that I was fussed for, but I got the whole collection. 2 CDs again. I've not even taken this one out the shrink. I have opened the rock one. Interestingly, the rock one has stuff on it such as I'll Set You Free by the Bangles, The Hole of the Moon by the Waterboys. I'm sure that was the 90s. Right on the border of the turn of the coupon. You know, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That's on the rock one. And on the Europop one you've got, you know, Superstitious by Europe. You've got pop right enough. I'll try to look at the heavier ones. You've got Tarzan Boy, Baltimore, etc, etc. Letter from America, The Proclaimers, Deacon Blue, Bucks Fizz, Sheena Easton, etc. So just to show you a year, 1989 for example, this was the first one you got, the pictures looked like that. 80s collection, disc A and disc B, and it would open out like so. They were all different coloured. The second in the series for the year came sort of this style, similar colouring tones but slight differences. Again, double disc. So you've got basically 4 discs of 80s from each year, 88. And as I say, this goes from 80 all the way up. So that's that, and it's all kind of pop rock classics from the 80s. Cassette. This is the Friends tape. Now this is not mine, this was my parents' because this came out in 1982. But the reason I'm showing this is because it's a big part of my early music listening. This was advertised on TV as well by Teledisc. Yeah, Teledisc, and probably isn't focusing. Yeah, Teledisc. So 1982, and we used to listen to this in the car along with a couple of other similar type of cassettes when we would go on holiday down to places like North Wales, to Southport, Llandudno, Rhyl, you know, these kind of places back in the 80s, you know, and I would be something like, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, that kind of age. And this is all country and western, easy listening stuff. You know, you've got people in here like Don Williams, Anne Murray, Charlie Rich, Billy Joe Spears, Linda Ronstadt, Glenn Campbell, Kenny Rogers, etc. And we grew to love it. We actually grew to love all the songs in here. They kind of became a part of our young, early musical life, and I still love listening to this day. It brings back a lot of good memories when I hear it. So, other cassette, Cliff Richard, Always Guaranteed. Now this is 1987 or 8, I think it is, and it has Some People, Two Hearts, you know, My Pretty One. This was about 1987, 88. Some of the 80s chart hits. My mum is a huge Cliff fan. I spotted this on the cheap, so picked it up. I quite like some of Cliff. I prefer his 60s, 70s, 80s, his early stuff up to the 80s. That's really where it stops for me. I also like listening to classical, especially classical guitar. Here's a couple of just classical music CDs. Josie Gonzalez. This is from the 90s, is it? Or maybe it's later than that even. Was it 2000 and something? It doesn't even have the date on the back. And because it's in a sleeve, I'm not going to open it. But it includes this Josie Gonzalez, his album Veneer. It includes the song Heartbeats from the Sony Bravia TV advert. If you remember, it had the coloured bouncing balls going down this steep street. I don't know if it was filmed in somewhere like San Francisco or something, I don't know. Anyway, that's his, and he's kind of folky Spanish guitar, acoustic guitar, poppy stuff. I mentioned James Last earlier. This is another one similar to that Friends tape compilation. It's from my childhood. This is James Last's Western Party, where he does a whole load of country and western style songs. Most of them are instrumental, I think, on this. My dad had the LP, in fact he still has the LP. I saw it on CD fairly recently and had to get it just for, you know, nostalgia reasons. It's good listening. I also like, what have we got here? Yeah, gospel music, because I'm a believer as well. So some of my favourite gospel stuff to listen to. I like the Hillsong Music Australia. That one, it's an earlier one, Touching Heaven, Changing Earth. It's got some great stuff on it, kind of rocky, poppy rock. And these are usually live worships. Hillsong Music Australia. So they're really good, uplifting, upbeat. Another gospel series that I like is the Gaither Gospel series. My mum loves this kind of stuff, and I like some of it as well. More traditional. They do a lot of kind of southern gospel stuff from, you know, places like Memphis and I don't know, where's this one from? The mountains of somewhere or another, but you know, I can't remember exactly. But I've got a batch of these, the Gaither series. They came DVD and CD sets when I was buying these. Again, if you want some uplifting Christian stuff, this is a good place to go. And the rest is kind of more onto the mainstream pop stuff. So, I think Metal Mickey showed it ABBA Gold. This is Forever Gold, which is the double version. It's got ABBA Gold and more ABBA Gold. It's a 2 CD set. There we are, so everything I'll ever need regarding ABBA. Aha, the hits on Headlines and Deadlines, the hits of Aha. I loved some of their stuff back in the day. Great pop band from Norway. I think Metal Mickey mentioned this one, Best of Blondie. Big country, brilliant Scottish pop rock, folk rock. They are quite heavy on the guitars and some other stuff, but they're very melodic. Great band from Fife. Another one that was their debut album, The Crossing. Susie Boggess, she is an American country artist. Capital Nashville, so you know, one of the big country queens, I guess, of the modern day. She has a terrific voice. A lot of her music's really upbeat and enjoyable, and good stuff there if you want some country. I know Dude 1973 is into country, but I don't know where he sits with the likes of Susie Boggess. I'm not huge into country. I know a few people, but I don't have a great knowledge of it. Belinda Carlisle, Heaven on Earth, loved her as well back in the day. Saw her live. My first concert was Belinda Carlisle, age 11. Metal Mickey might recall this one, Cher's Greatest Hits. This is a really good album. Although I don't know, you could probably stick this in the rock category actually as well. Really cool songs on here. The Connells, these guys are American, and this album Ring. I did have 2 other albums of these guys, and I got rid of them, and I regret it. I really want them back. So this came out in '93. This album Ring, kind of again pop, folky style, really good guitars. Feeder, Echo Park. I do have 2 Feeder albums. I did have 3. I had Comfort and Sound as well, but I think I handed that one into a charity shop. But I've also got Pushing the Senses, but this is my favourite. It's the only one I really quite enjoy the most, and it was, I think this is their debut, Echo Park. This is dated 2001. This is kind of, you know, the sort of, I don't know what you class this, Britpop alternative sort of stuff like that. Probably not, but anyway. Again, this could possibly fit into the rock category as well. Metal Mickey will know that one. Billy Idol. This band is another Norwegian band, the Hooters, great pop rock. They had a huge hit with Satellite in 1987 here in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world, but it was massive here, and this was their album, which has Satellite on it, and it's got some other really good stuff. Just very enjoyable pop rock. Hipsway. This was a Scottish band. They came out in the very early 80s. They had some big hit with The Honey Thief. Also Tinder, that featured in an advert for McEwen's Lager, and the advert was about 2.5 minutes long. Back in the 80s as well. It's a very plain cover, but this band no longer exists. And I've not got the date of this offhand, but it's something like 1982, 83, I think. But it's again a good pop album. This is one of my favourite, what are these things called? Theatre things, you know, the things you go to see in the theatre. Jesus Christ Superstar. This is a double CD, and it's this one, well, it initially came out in 1970. This is a 1993 issue, I think, and this is an American pressing, MCA. I think I must have picked this up when I was on holiday in Florida one year. So it's a double CD, and I like the show. I've seen it a couple of times live, but I really love the music in it. And of course, Andrew Lloyd Webber has a lot to do with this, and he's just a great composer as well, isn't he? So that's Jesus Christ Superstar. Mike Oldfield, I quite enjoy some of his. I have this album Crises mainly for Moonlight Shadow, another huge hit in 1983, brilliant. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Greatest Hits, fantastic album. You've got 18 smash hits on here. Another one, Metal Mickey, The Police. I like The Police more than I like Sting as a solo artist, but yeah, I kind of like some of the early Police stuff, pretty cool. The Sisters of Mercy, this is the only album of theirs I have. I'm not hugely into them, but I do like some of the stuff of this album. They're kind of like, you know, The Cure, a bit sort of gothic type themed style, some kind of darkish, but they do have some cool stuff such as Dominion, Lucretia, This Corrosion. I remember seeing them singing that on Top of the Pops in 1987. Wolfstone, they are a Scottish band again. These guys are kind of Celtic rock, folk rock. Very cool if you want some traditional. I kind of like listening to these guys at Hogmanay, which is New Year's Eve. They just have a very very Scottish feel about them, but really enjoyable. Genesis, this is Invisible Touch. This is the only Genesis album I own, but I picked this up because I love the song Invisible Touch. There is other stuff I quite like. Phil Collins I quite like as well. But I don't know a lot of Genesis, so I just happen to have this one. I don't know if I'll get more over the course of time. Another Scottish band who I like a lot, Runrig. They just completed their last ever concert this year. They've actually disbanded now, just this summer. Been going since 1973. So I have a few of their albums from the 80s and 90s. They are from the Highlands and Islands. They sing in both Gaelic and English, and really, again, folk rock, Celtic rock. Slightly different in style to Wolfstone, but they're more rocky, and they did get a bit more commercial sounding in their late 80s, early 90s peak. Let me just move these, get some more space here. We're nearly there. I think there's one or two more embarrassing ones in this box here. These are stuff I don't really listen to very often, but they're stuff I want to keep because, you know, I regard them as good albums. Or there's a couple of CD singles I've got here. Cliff Richard, From a Distance. This was 1989 I think this was. Great song. This is Saviour's Day, which is his Christmas hit single from 1990, which is a really good song. One of the few Christmas pop songs you hardly ever hear on the radio for some reason, but it's good. I don't care what anybody else thinks, it's good music. This, From a Distance, happens to have Wired for Sound on it as well. Fantastic. So that's those two. Michael Jackson's Thriller. The main reason I wanted this was for Beat It. Love that song. Obviously we know Mr. Van Halen does the guitar solo, but also like Billie Jean. That's another one. That's another favourite of mine, so I'll just pick up the CD. I'm not overly in awe of this album as such. It's an okay album for me, although it was one of the biggest selling albums in the world. But again, I just wanted to have it really for those couple of songs more so than anything else. I've got Richard Marx Greatest Hits. Vinylizer John just happened to show this guy yesterday, I think, in his latest video. And as John said, he's a great singer, he's a great songwriter, there's a lot of nice stuff, some really good ballads. Again, I picked this up in America. This is a US pressing, so I picked this up when I was on holiday. Came out in 97. You've got 16 tracks here. The Best of Nick Kershaw compilation, and it's got all these hits from the 80s. Wouldn't it be good? You've got the extended 12-inch mixes of that and Human Racing. You've got The Riddle, you've got I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. What else have we got here? City of Angels, Dancing Girls, Nobody Knows, Wide Boy, blah 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 blah. So that's good pop stuff. Cliff Richard, 1980s. My mum has the 1960s one, but I wanted this one obviously because a lot of my favourites of his are on here, so that's good stuff, including Wired for Sound. And it doesn't have Devil Woman because that was for the 70s, so that's another favourite of mine, but it's got a whole load of good 80s ones. T'Pau, I think you showed Bridge of Spies. This is the best of. They are a good pop band, there's no doubt about it. They had some crackers. It's another version of Jesus Christ Superstar, the soundtrack to that. This one isn't as good as the original one, because I think the earlier one I showed was the original soundtrack. It's a different cast and different people. Starting to get slightly cheesier here. Wham! The Final. This is like a greatest hits. My favourite Wham song is Freedom. Not George Michael's Freedom, but Wham's Freedom. More cheese. Bananarama's greatest hits. Yeah. 80s, Stock Aitken Waterman, happy songs. That's basically Bananarama, radio friendly. This is Branigan, The Best of Laura Branigan, another one I picked up in the States, so this is a US pressing. Self Control is one of my favourites from her. Another huge 80s super album, The Joshua Tree from U2. This came out in 87. I do like this album. Kind of like Metal Mickey in a way. I prefer their earlier stuff to what they do now. And I think you perhaps mentioned Duran Duran. It might have been this one, Greatest Hits. Oh, I forgot this one should be with my other gospel. That's Rich Mullins. He is another Christian gospel singer. So that's one of his albums. It's called Songs. And the last two here, Songs in the Key of Springfield, The Simpsons. So basically this came out in, what's the date here? About 1997. So this has a lot of songs and musical jingles and things that appeared in, the first few years of The Simpsons being out. Original music from the television. I mean, it's, you've got Marge versus the Monorail, you've got the Itchy and Scratchy theme, you've got Camp Krusty medley, South of the Border, you've got the end credits from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, you've got Homer's Barbershop Quartet, you've got everything. Who Needs the Quickie Mart? Just funny. And the other similar one is the Best of Hanna-Barbera, so it's cartoon theme tunes, Dastardly Muttley, Top Cat, Yogi Bear, the Jetsons, the Flintstones, blah blah blah. So I have these, but they're not something I really listen to much, so God, that's taken me 27 minutes nearly. So that's kind of some of my other stuff. I just like a bit of everything now and again. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any queries or questions about anything you've seen that you want to know more about, just give me a shout in the comments. And I'm also going to put a link to Metal Mickey's channel, Mr. Sugar Babes, Mr. Who the heck was the other one? What was the other girl group? And Take That fan. So anyway, I'll speak to you later. Bye for now.